What's up everyone, here is AhkTaar and welcome back for another hero guide, and this time in this video I'm gonna talk about Lukea. So, Lukea is one of the best bleeder and single target damage dealer in the game. She does a lot of direct damage and bleed damage. She is just insane in this domain. So she is an attacker with the red mark and from the Nameless Brotherhood. She does a lot of damage. You just need to put some supports with her in the faction or in the red mark tower and she is gonna do the job. Let's talk about her skills. The first one, the ultimate, she is gonna inflict 6 stages of attack to a single enemy with 2 bleeds without exclusive. You don't need effect hit in order to land the 2 bleeds. 2 bleeds is not a lot, so don't expect her to deal a lot of damage without the 3rd exclusive. Also, the 5 last stages are gonna have an additional 50% piercing rate, so she is gonna ignore a part of the enemy's defense, which is pretty nice, so you don't need to use her with defense down on enemies. Then, if you have the 3rd exclusive, she will land up to 7 bleeds at once using the ultimate, which is pretty insane. And also, she will have some chance to trigger up to 6 bleed damage on the enemy, depending on the number of crits you make with this attack. Up to 6 crit, okay? So this is why you want to build her with some crit rate in order to have more chance to inflict bleeds using the 3rd exclusive on this ultimate. Otherwise, if you don't have enough crit rate, if you can't land a crit, you will still have 60% chance on the 5 last stages of this attack to inflict 1 layer of bleed. 60%, which is pretty nice, especially if you have a lot of effect hit on her, it's still gonna be landed on the enemy, so it's still pretty nice. But you want to inflict crit on enemies in order to trigger the bleeds, so crit rate are really important on her. Now her second skill, she is gonna deal 3 stages of attack to a single enemy, and each stage has a 100% chance to inflict a bleed. So you can inflict up to 3 bleeds with this attack, but even if you have a 100% chance to inflict the bleed, you need effect hit in order to try to inflict it, okay? It's different from the ultimate. Here it's inflict the bleeds without the need of effect hit. Here it's written you have some chance to apply the bleeds, but even if it's written 100%, you need some effect hit in order to land the bleeds. You don't need that much because 100% is a lot, so you still need a lot of effect hit. Maybe 60% is enough if you want to be sure to land your bleeds with the second skill and the ultimate. 60% effect hit would help a lot. And then she's gonna deal extra damage with each stage of attack based on the number of bleeds the target has, and this is pretty insane. You're gonna see that against the guild boss, she is doing an awesome job using the second skill. She is insane for that. If you have the 1st exclusive, she is gonna grant herself a shield by 30% of her max HP and steal for 2 turns after using this skill, which is pretty insane for her survivability in content. Then on the basic attack, she has 3 stages of attack on a single target, and she can inflict up to 3 layers of bleeds using that, but she is gonna have a 50% chance only if you don't crit, but 70% chance if you land a crit with 1 stage of attack. 70% chance is a lot, but still you're gonna need a lot of effect hit in order to be sure to land this on the enemy, so maybe 60-70% effect hit on her is great to begin with. Now let's talk about her passive. Every time she's gonna kill a target, she is gonna get 2 layers of soul fragments on her, and each layer of soul fragment is gonna increase her leech, speed and bleed damage by 3%, a bit more if you have her skilled up. You can get 1 layer of soul fragment every time you're gonna cast an active skill. That means using the second skill and the ultimate. Once you have 5 layers of soul fragment, she is gonna convert the fragments into one soul core, and then she is gonna get 15% more leech speed and bleed damage, reduce the cooldown, reset the cooldown of all her skills, and get an extra turn. And this is pretty insane because she is going to inflict a lot of damage, more damage, be faster, self heal a lot, get an extra turn, re-inflict more bleeds, more damage. And also, if you have the second exclusive here, every time you're gonna get a layer of soul fragments, one of your skill at random will reduce the cooldown of by 1 turn, which is pretty interesting. And also she's gonna get additional piercing rate by 5% for each layer of soul fragment, up to 45% when she has the soul core on her, and so she is gonna inflict a lot of direct damage without the need of reducing the defense of the enemy. So if I summarize everything about the exclusive, she is gonna be great with the exclusives, but just decent without the exclusive. You are gonna still be able to inflict a lot of bleeds, but don't expect her to deal a huge amount of damage if you don't have exclusives on her. So the first one, when she's gonna use the second skill, she is gonna get a 30% shield on her and grant her stealth. So she won't be targeted by a single target enemy. Then the second one, she's gonna reduce the cooldown of her active skill every time she's gonna get 1 layer of soul fragment, and she's gonna get more piercing rate once she has a layer of soul fragment and soul core. So this one is gonna increase a lot her damage. And finally, the last one is gonna allow her to inflict more bleeds using the ultimate, and trigger the damage of bleeds using the ultimate. If you don't have this one, she is not gonna do a great job using the ultimate. So now let's talk about her stats. I recommend to have a lot of attack on her, a lot of effect, a lot of crit rate, crit damage, mastery, and then to focus on the crit rate and the effect hit. In my opinion, if you increase the attack first, she is gonna deal more direct damage and more bleed damage, so the attack is awesome on her. Then the mastery, the first source of damage is gonna come from her bleed damage, so you want to build her with a lot of mastery. But also, in order to inflict more bleed, you are gonna need some crit rate. This is why I recommend to be careful building her, because you are gonna need crit rate and some effect hit, but in fact maybe you need the same amount of crit rate and effect hit. So if you miss a crit using the ultimate, you are gonna still be able to inflict bleeds if you have the third exclusive, because you're gonna have some effect hit. This is important, and in order to inflict some bleeds with the basic attack and the second skill, you need some effect hit. So early game, what I would recommend is first maybe 50 to 60% effect hit, 60 to 70% crit rate, because you are gonna see she inflicts a lot of direct damage. And then the final thing you want to increase on her is the crit damage. Mastery first, crit damage then. So this is what I would recommend on her. As you can see, I don't have a lot of speed on her because I'm using her with Ben Austin, and with the counter attacks of Catherine, she can inflict a lot of debuffs to enemies, so it's enough. In endgame, you want to focus more on something like 80% crit rate, 88% if you use her with Megan, so she will get 12% more crit rate, and it's a great combo in dungeons. Otherwise, if you want to be sure to land your bleeds on the ultimate and to trigger the bleeds using the ultimate, you want to have something around 100% crit rate. But yeah, you need effect hit, you need mastery, you need attack, you need crit damage, you need a lot of stats on her, so adjust stats as you want, as you can with your gear. So now let's talk about the gear. Let me push myself to the right. So this is what I have on her. I have 2 forge sets and 1 basic mastery set. So what I recommend to use on her, you can use basic crit rate in order to increase her crit rate if you need some crit. You can use, I don't recommend to use a crit damage. I would prefer to use a mastery one first, a crit rate one first, an effect hit one first, at least 1 effect hit on her, is to reach the stats you need. It's really difficult to build her. So yeah, you can use this set. If you have no crit set, no effect hit set, no mastery set, you can build her with crit damage set. The best sets on her are this one, the Slay set, so you will get some crit rate, crit damage, or this one to get some attack rate and crit rate, or the one that I am using, this one to get more mastery and effect hit. So you will get a huge amount of stats on her with this forge set. Also, if you want to build her with some speed, you can still use this one. You won't benefit from the healing effect on her, but still you will get 20% more effect hit and speed, so it's up to you to choose the stuff you want to put on her. The best set for her is for sure this one, the Fearless set, because it gives some crit rate, leech and mastery, and so in fine everything that she needs. But this one is really clearly not affordable. You need to get some ingots during ranking events in the rankings. So as you can see, I don't have a lot because I focused first other stuff here. So yeah, I want to try to get some because this is definitely the best set to have on her. In terms of stats on my hero, on my Lukea, I have I'm using this at the moment with some crit rate, crit damage, attack rate, mastery. So I have everything I need on this piece of gear. On this one, it's only a 5-star, but it's a legendary one, and I have a lot of substats: crit rate, effect hit, attack rate. But I have an effect resistance one, and it's not needed on her. Then on the boots, I have a mastery, attack rate, effect hit, and crit damage, so in fact everything I need. And finally, on the accessory, I have some attack flat, crit damage, mastery, and crit rate, so everything I need. Then let's talk about the artifact. Here, I'm using a crit rate 1 in order to get more crit rate. If you have enough crit rate with your gear, you can use a mastery one instead. If you have enough crit rate and mastery, you can use a crit damage, and if you have enough crit damage, crit rate, mastery, you can use an attack one. It's up to you. Then it's gonna depend on the substats you're gonna have on your artifact. In my case, I have a lot of crit damage, effect hit, mastery, and attack rate, so this one is perfect for me. Then on this one, I recommend to use an effect hit one, but if you have enough effect hit on her, you can use an attack one instead, so she will have more damage with bleed and direct damage. On this one, I have mastery, crit rate, speed, and attack flat, so this one is perfect for me. And finally, on the last one, you can increase her speed if you want to use her faster, but in my case, I decided to use an attack one because now I have some mastery, crit rate, and attack rate with the substat. I don't need the defense, but yeah, this one is great for me. So now let's talk about the emblems. So let's push myself back to the left. So this is what I am currently using on her, but you can use the defense tab if you prefer to use it, because here, let me explain. On the attack one, I have everything that can increase my direct and dot damage, some crit rate here, but you can use some attack if you have enough crit rate with your stuff. And here you can use the defense tab or the support one. I prefer using the support one because I will have more effect hit during the fight. I'm gonna take less damage when I have a shield. I can reduce my cooldowns. But this one is also really nice because you will benefit from the defense buff on your Lukea. you will get some tenacity when you will have more than 50% HP on her, and you will hear herself when you're gonna take too much attack at once, too much damage at once. It's up to you to use what you prefer. Now let's talk about the aura. This is the aura I have at the moment. This is a legendary one. If you don't want to use this one, if you need some effect hit, you can use where it is. You can use this one. It's a green one. It's not efficient on her, but if you need some effect hit, it is great on her. Then if you need some crit rate on the basic attack, you can use this one, but I don't recommend to do so. As a blue one, you can use this one in order to increase her mastery. It is a great one to use. You can use this one if you want to play her more with direct damage. You have a lot of solutions. You can use maybe, let me see, this one if you want to increase her own mastery and apply a buff on your other heroes if you are using multiple daughters at once in your team. Otherwise, I would prefer to use where it is to use this one in order to increase her direct damage, or this one to increase her effect hit, or this one for the arena. If you kill a target, you are gonna get some turn meta, so she is gonna be more aggressive in the arena, or this one to get more crit rate, crit damage. Otherwise, this one can be nice if you like some crit rate. She is gonna get more on her skills, so second skill and ultimate, and this is where you want your crit rate on her, in fact. And in terms of legendary aura, I recommend to use only the one I have on her, this one, because you are gonna get some attack and effect hit. You can use this one to get more piercing rate and more attack when you have a shield, but I recommend to use this one instead. In my opinion, this one is gonna be better, because she's gonna inflict a lot of bleed damage, and so you need attack to deal more direct and bleed damage, and effect hit to land your bleeds on the targets. So now let me show you some gameplay in the arena with Lukea. So here, as you can see, there is a Nazil and there is a Pauline, so I'm gonna take a lot of debuffs on me, and Pauline is gonna cleanse the debuffs. So here I want to use that in order to increase the turn meta of my space. Normally she should I'm gonna use that. Normally she should resist the freeze, because my space has a lot of resistance. So let's have a look to the fight. Okay, she resisted, so now I'm gonna increase my turn meta and I'm gonna cleanse my heroes with my Pauline. And now they are gonna be able to play. So I'm gonna use this with Ben Austin on space. So I'm gonna reduce her turn meta with my space and inflict some bleeds. Now I'm gonna freeze them. And now I'm gonna use the ultimate on Pauline. She one-shotted Pauline. She is insane for that. Her ultimate does a huge amount of damage. So now I'm gonna increase my speed, and I'm gonna do that on space. So my Lukea is gonna kill space and get an extra turn, because she's gonna get the soul fragment on her. So now she can play, and I'm gonna one-shot Melchior. Perfect. Now I can run the fight in auto. It's gonna be done. Her damage are insane. She is great for the arena. And now Nazil is gonna die. Great. Also now, let me show you some content in dungeon. So at the moment I'm running Graulen 30 with this team, so let's have a look to how what is gonna happen. You're gonna see that her damage are insane. So first of all, I control the wave, I inflict some dots on them. And now the first wave is over in 11 seconds, pretty nice. So now the second wave, my Hezenja is gonna kill everybody. And now let's jump into the boss wave. I'm gonna freeze the 2 adds. And now I'm gonna inflict a lot of bleeds with my Lukea. And the boss is gonna die super fast. So I lost 2 heroes, but it's okay because I have still my 2 best DPS and I have my Catherine. 10 bleeds on the boss, look at the damage he's gonna take. It's just insane. So now he's gonna die. And it's Graulen 30. She inflicts a lot of damage. This is insane. 27 million damage. Absolutely huge. So this is the guild boss number 5. I'm running with AhkTaar to increase her attack, to lower the defense and the tenacity of the boss, so the boss is gonna take more direct damage. And I have Ben Austin in order to make her pursue the target and inflict more bleeds. I'm using Catherine for the counter attack to inflict more bleeds and to apply the consolidation 2 on my heroes and the shield, and Megan to increase the crit rate of my Lukea by 12%. And so she is gonna deal insane bleed and direct damage. So with the basic attack, she does not a huge amount of damage, but did you see that? This is what she's gonna do with her ultimate. Look at the direct damage. A lot of crit damage here, direct ones, and look at the amount of bleed damage. This is just insane. And you're gonna see the damage with the second skill though. So that was the second skill, but the boss didn't have the tenacity on him, tenacity down 60%, and she didn't have the attack buff 40%. So if I accelerate the run just a bit, okay, she used her second skill too, but she didn't have the buff on her. Look at the damage. It is just insane. One more time, second skill, but the boss didn't have the tenacity down and she didn't have the attack buff 40%. Maybe this time. Okay, let's have a look. Okay, she used a basic attack. Maybe I can optimize it, because at the moment she's gonna deal a huge amount of direct damage using her second skill, and at the moment I'm wasting it. I'm not using it on the right moment. Yeah, look at that. This is the second skill and she has everything on her and everything on the boss. 100 million 3 times using the second skill, and then the bleed damage. She is insane for that. So let me jump at the end of the video to see the final result. The boss is dead in 11 turns. In 18 turns, sorry, in 18 turns. She inflicted 120 million damage almost in 18 turns, which is pretty insane. If you want to use her against the guild boss, you are gonna need maybe AhkTaar to increase her attack, lower the tenacity of the boss, and so you are gonna deal more damage. So she is great against this boss here in the Elemental City, Fire Rotation, because you need to inflict as much bleeds as you can as possible in a short amount of time on the boss in order to break his damage and prevent him to heal himself. So I used this team in order to beat this boss, and you are gonna see that Lukea is just amazing in this content. So if you play her here, she's gonna do an insane job. So first of all, I have to tank the boss. Now I'm gonna use the ultimate, and so I'm gonna apply a ton of bleeds on the boss at once. Now he already has 10 bleeds on him, and as you can see, this is why bleeders are mandatory here. It's gonna, every time you're gonna inflict a bleed on the boss, you are gonna lower these stacks on him, and so the lower the stacks, the lowest the damage he's gonna deal on your heroes. And this is really important. This is the only way you have to beat him. So a second skill now. She's gonna inflict a 3 bleeds using the second skill and deal a lot of damage. She missed a lot of crits, so it was not great, but still. So if I accelerate the run, as you can see, he dies super fast. Look at the damage he's gonna take. Pretty nice, isn't it? I'm gonna accelerate the run just a bit. One more ultimate. A lot of damage on him. Bleeds triggered. And also at his turn, he is gonna take a lot of bleed damage. Look at that. He is dying. So she is insane for this kind of content too. So that was all for the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If it's the case, as usual, please like, comment and subscribe, and then see you in the next one. Bye bye.
Infinite Magicraid. Play to slay.